Hey, good evening, folks, and welcome out to, so y'all can hear everything, can't you? You're right in front of it. There you go. That's why you get front row. We're out for another episode of the Pelican Sports Report down here at Firehouse Subs on Kaliste Saloom in Lafayette. I am Doug Gann with 446 Sports and delighted to have Westminster Lafayette in the house tonight. So they were going to, we've got one because she's not eating, so everybody else is tied up. But we're going to talk to a lot of those folks tonight. Coach, certainly welcome. Ken Gable joins us tonight, and we appreciate you taking time out. I know practice just ended, but thanks for coming out.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Hang on, we're going to get that fixed. There you go.
There we go.
That's better. So tell me, how was practice, first of all? We'll get into that.
It was good. I mean, we short week. You know, it's tough on short weeks whenever, you know, we played on Friday and quick turnaround for Thursday. We play a few more Thursday games. We play 4, I think, this year, and we don't have our own stadium, so we kind of have to play around Lafayette Renaissance. So if they have a Friday game, then we play Thursday, that kind of thing. So Thursday games are tough, but after a tough loss, I'm kind of excited to kind of get back out there as soon as possible.
Yeah, we saw that one, and it was a tough one. We'll talk just a little bit about it. But the first 2 games, you go 2-0 coming into that too. So the start of the season, I think, started out where you wanted after a great season last year.
Absolutely. And look, the Hamilton Christian Jamboree win was big too. You know, that's a tough team, and that's a top 10 team, and we came out and played extremely well and got a win in that one. And then starting out 2-0, Albany's a bigger school, and that's definitely a test, 3A school. And then, you know, played good against Thrive. So, yeah, being 2-0 was exciting, and last year was a great building year. I don't think a lot of people expected us to go 7-3 in our first year and get a playoff spot and really, you know, a couple plays away from upsetting Opelousas Catholic.
What does that do for you in, I guess, your outlook for this season, having the start that you did last year?
Yeah, we talk to our players all the time. Is the expectation is always to, you know, I come from a program at Acadiana, and our goal is to win the whole thing. And doesn't really change much here. Obviously, the challenges are different, you know, starting out, but our goals are set at the beginning of the year, and the first thing is to compete for and win a district championship. And then secondly, we want to try to be able to practice over Thanksgiving, you know, and that means you're playing in a quarterfinal game, and then if you get that far, then you always got a chance. So ultimately, our goals are still the same right now, and we're looking forward to getting back to work Thursday.
The mindset that you bring over from your former school, player there, coach there, what does that bring to a program that is as new as this one is?
I think just credibility. You know, when you have a newer program, you know, you're still trying to find your identity, you know, and the school's still trying to find its identity, still trying to make our mark in the area. So I think bringing in a culture of winning and an expectation of excellence and what it takes to get the job done, and then coming from a place and having some success and winning some state championships and that kind of thing, it's easier for players and parents and the school to just buy into what you're trying to get across and what you're trying to get accomplished.
Look, you talk about playing after Thanksgiving, which those that have played after Thanksgiving certainly know the idea, and that's where they want to be. How was it when you came in and look, this is good's just not good enough. Here's where we want to be.
Yeah, I mean that's the only thing I know. I mean, I tell our team this sometimes. Before last year, there was only one Thanksgiving I wasn't coaching. You know, so that's the only thing I knew, and so that's the expectation, and that's where we want to be, and I think they want that, you know, and I want that for them, and I want them to have the ability to feel that there's the best. I tell people all the time, I've coached I've coached state championship games, semifinal games. But by far, my favorite practice of the year is Thanksgiving Day, and have the fans come out and the kids come out on Thanksgiving morning before they go with their families, and it's by far the most exciting practice of the year. So I kind of want them to have the ability to experience that, and to be honest with you, I want to experience it again myself. So.
Look, once you've seen it, there's no doubt about it. Tell me a little bit about your team. For those at home that are not familiar with the Chargers, let's talk a little bit about folks that you have returning. Again, first year program was last year, so what do you bring back, and what do you have looking at this year?
Yeah, I mean this year it's you know, we only have 4 seniors this year. You know, so we bring back our 4 seniors. And again, they all started for us last year. Watson Delahousie is our starting center. Marlon Reed is a starting cornerback. Aiden Delcom He plays both ways for us. He played a little quarterback last year when Beasley went down, but we moved him. He's more of a receiver, running back, and he plays some secondary for us, free safety, star type thing. And then Gavin Hebert is a starting running back for us. So those are our 4 seniors. Most of the guys that we have starting, it's weird when you lose a bunch of seniors to bring back so many returning starters, but
right.
because our roster is so slim, we don't have a ton of players. We need these guys to be able to play, at a very young age. So we have a lot of freshman starters last year that are sophomores this year. We have a lot of freshman starters this year. We were excited about our team coming in. Much better up front. We thought coming in much stronger. Before I got to the school, there was no weight room, no culture of working out, lifting, and things like that. So we were able to establish that. And this team is the first one that got to experience a full off season. So we're much bigger, faster, stronger, and so that's going to help us out in the long run. But we have had some injuries. We returned Ethan Seymour, who was first-team All-District running back last year, and he led our team in rushing yards and tackles. We lost him with a broken leg in the scrimmage against Beauchesne, and so that was tough. We're hoping that possibly he could come back late. It would be playoffs or something like that. Gavin Hebert suffered an injury, so he's out a couple weeks. We had a starting receiver, Abe Lemoyne, go down with a torn ACL in week 1.
Which means he won't be back this season.
So he's out, and we lost another, Graham Martin, who was a freshman, played some special teams and that kind of thing, and he tore his ACL at practice running routes on air. So you have 3 basically season-ending injuries at a program like ours that is limited on players.
Well, yeah, you guys were talking, without the injuries, it's difficult to go 11 on 11 anyway.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, without our 8th graders that we have on our roster, we probably only have about 18 guys or so that we can put on the field and feel comfortable going out on a varsity game. So it makes it tough. I mean, the game Friday night, I think we had 8 or 9 guys that did not leave the field. And that's for offense, defense, special teams. It didn't matter what it is. I always tell them the cramping and, you better be almost dead or a bone sticking out of your leg if you're going to lay on the field, because otherwise I need you to get up and play, because it's just not, when I look back behind me to call somebody's name, there's just not a lot of guys back there. So that's a challenge, but we have some extremely talented players. We really do, and we have a lot of guys that can play at a lot of schools, and so if we can just remain healthy the rest of the way, get back on a roll, and like I told the players, after we lost the Westminster game last year, and the goal was to be 7-1 going into Ascension, and they accomplished that last year, and it's the same thing this year. Our goal is to be 7-1. Ultimately, there was a lot of hype around that game, but at the end of the day, it was week 3.
Right.
And I've never seen anybody give you a state championship ring in week 3. So. We'll get better from it. It was great film. That's an extremely good football team. I truly believe that's either the best or one of the best. Obviously, VC last year in Ascension were really, really, really good. But Westminster Opelousas this year is a really good football team. So there's no, we weren't sad or anything. I mean, we're upset because you want to win the game, but that's a good football team, and we knew we had to play well. We made some mistakes, and they capitalized, and we just got to get better from it.
I just think that, of course, you have your 2 wins to start the season, and you grow from there. Your Jamboree win that you have. Sometimes early on, that type of game can help build you towards the rest of it.
Absolutely. That's another thing. I mean, we don't. This is not a schedule I made. Obviously, this was here. I inherited this, but even now, I mean, as we're making a schedule, I mean, I'm not trying to play soft competition. I don't chase wins and things like that. We want to get better, and a game like that Friday is going to ultimately make us better. And that's the goal, because you want to be playing your best football when you get to the playoffs. And I always tell people at Acadiana, I think there was only one undefeated team, in the history of the school that won the whole thing. And so you're going to take some losses in the regular season. It's just like I told the players this week, it's all about how you bounce back and try to get back out there and go put out a good performance on Thursday.
Look, the offense that you bring in, that's got to help when it comes to the limited numbers that you have, and just being able to eat up the clock and to be able to do what you guys want to do and go at your pace.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and the cool part about it is, our players have bought into it.
Right.
That's the key thing is because the misconception is that the Veer offense is you just dive right, dive left, and but when you're in it and you actually run that offense, it's a lot more complex than that. There's a lot of different blocking schemes. We have the ability to throw the football. We have a young quarterback that has the ability to throw the football and can run and do some things. And he's just got to learn and be able to execute it, on a consistent basis. The offense can do a ton of things. Last year we were a little more limited. This year I think we're a little further along, but it does allow you to control the clock. And our big thing is we want to shorten the game. Every game we want as short as possible. If that clock is constantly rolling, we're excited.
One possession a quarter, huh?
That's what we did against Albany. It was good. We got the ball first against them and took it down and took probably 8 minutes off and then punched it in. And that's kind of demoralizing for the other team and the defense. And then for our kids, it's like, it allows us to establish our identity, which is crucial to what we're trying to do. So, the offense really kind of helps us out. If we were spread it out, and we had 17, 18 players and spread a route and running go routes and post routes and every other kind of route combination you could think of.
You're not going to make it to
survive.
halftime.
We'll be cramping and on all over the place. So this kind of does simplify it and slows it down and allows us to kind of be able to get through with our roster size,
Well, it's going to be exciting to talk to some of those guys that are in here. It look like most of them are finished. They the pace on offense might be slow, but they ate quick. There's no doubt about that. They did.
That's for sure.
They did that. We're going to take our first break of the evening. When we come back, we'll sit here and we'll visit with some of these guys, Coach. It is Westminster Lafayette Charger night, so we're going to be here talking to as many as that you want to and get the folks to know a little bit more about your program.
Absolutely.
There you go. We're at Firehouse Subs here on Kaliste Saloom. It is the Pelican Sports Report brought to you by the Leleux Group. We'll be right back.
Here's your Beal and Hebert starting lineup.
Lance Beal, Turley's Catholic.
Kenny Hebert, Catholic High.
Stephen Williams, STM.
Don Connett, USL.
Alan Haney, Catholic High.
Gabrielle Romero, Sacred Heart.
Beal and Hebert, Acadiana's hometown lawyers.
You can start a rewarding career as an emergency medical technician sooner than you think. The National EMS Academy, a division of Acadian Ambulance, can train you in just 12 weeks at their campuses in Alexandria, Baton Rouge, Covington, Lafayette, Lake Charles, New Orleans, and Thibodaux. Students who complete the class and pass the National Registry exam are eligible to work for Acadian Ambulance. Classes start soon. Learn more at becomeamedic.com.
For over 40 years, Tim's Southern Air of Acadiana has kept homes cool, safe, and running strong, day or night. From expert air conditioning services to dependable whole home generators, our certified team is always ready when you need us most. We're not just technicians, we're neighbors who care. Southern Air of Acadiana, let us bear it. Call 337-339-9661 or visit timsac.com.
Home isn't just a place, it's where life happens. At the Leleux Group, we've helped families take that first big step and then the next. From starter homes to forever homes, we're here for the moments that matter most. Because the best real estate experience doesn't just find you a house, it helps you build a life.
And we're back to Firehouse Subs on Kaliste Saloom. It is Pelican Sports Report Tuesday night here, and man, had a blast with these folks. Big thanks to them all. And we give away their choice of hot sauce to the best interviews. So that's it's very subjective. I don't get to vote on that. That's up to you, Coach. So you get to award their choice of the hot sauce. That's right. So there you have it. Well, let's get into talking about the players and talking to the players. Who do you have with you?
This is Abe Prajon. He's a sophomore starter quarterback. Last year he played receiver for us and some DB. Had a season-ending injury week 4 last year. So kind of rehabbed back and played some basketball. He's a 3-sport athlete for us. does a lot, and just learning how to play the quarterback position. Has done a really good job of kind of taking the grasp of the offense and being able to run it. And I think he's going to be a really good player down the line for sure.
There you go, Zay. Well, welcome aboard. We appreciate having you out here.
Thank you.
Tell us about the transition from wide receiver into quarterback this year.
It's a lot. You got to know a lot more. It's a lot more, you got to think more. It's just a harder position.
Look, that's not real confident, Coach, is it? That doesn't, no. But it is complex. How has it been learning that type of offense? And because I can just imagine the intensity of the practices.
I put a lot of time into it. I stay after practice, run some routes with my receivers, and I just try to do my best of learning and paying attention in practice.
Do you ever think about getting to the line and audible into a pass or anything like that, or is that not quite there yet?
I don't think I'm there yet.
That's right. Coach, what did you see in Zay that says, you know what, this is our guy?
Just poise. Not a lot rattles him, at least on the surface, which is key at the quarterback position. You're going to have a lot of things flying at you, and I need to be able to trust that you're going to go out there and execute the offense the way we need to execute it. I know it sounds weird, but just getting the snap is a big deal in our offense, and a lot of quarterbacks struggle with getting the snap and getting it to our backs because we hit it so quickly. So he was always able to do that. He makes all the throws, the intermediate throws, and he can throw on the run extremely well, which is a big deal. But the biggest thing is just trusting that he has a grasp of the offense and just knowing that he could go out there and execute it. And he's going to make mistakes. Obviously, I've coached a lot of sophomore quarterbacks. It was funny for a few years when I was at Acadiana. For I think it was 4 years in a row, we had a new starting quarterback every year. Right. It was, and that's not a great place to be all the time. But Keontae was the first one, and then Jeremiah Brown, which we won a state championship with him, and then Aiden Trahan was a sophomore quarterback, and then the following year was Caden DeBetta. So it was 4 years in a row, and so having a sophomore quarterback has its challenges, especially in a first-year sophomore quarterback. But the experience that I have, coaching some other guys, Zayd's right where he needs to be as a sophomore, and he's ahead of it in a lot of areas, and in some areas that he'll have to grow. But he pitches the ball well with both hands, which is big in our offense. So he does a lot of good things, and he just got to continue to grow. And the big thing is getting him to use his legs more. He wants to throw the ball too much sometimes. Sometimes he's got some stuff open, and he just has to learn how to run, and that's just one of those things right. that he'll have to kind of grow into.
Zay, was this your first look at this type of an offense?
Yes, sir.
So how is it that you're picking up the playbook? How much time do you spend in the film and in the playbook?
I try to spend a lot of time in film. I'm always watching the defense to see what I can do better. I watch our film for practice, see what I can do better. That's it. Was there a thought as a freshman that, hey, look, next year I might be the guy there at quarterback, or when did that switch come? I didn't know until he told me the year before, until the season ended.
There you go. Well, one of your favorite experiences, I know it's early in the year, but tell me something that you said, you know what, okay, I got that. Let me build off of this now.
I think throwing my first touchdown.
Coach, I see it's leaning a little more towards a pass-heavy offense is what this is. No, when you come up there and you're having to make that decision, how is your reading of the defenses become?
So I try to look to my first read, and if that's not open, Coach always tells me to run, but sometimes I look to try to find another receiver.
There you go. When you guys are going to, and you're not playing in your own home stadium on there, but you've got your home crowd with you, and it's a great crowd on there too. How is it on you guys having to go to different places that you're playing?
We bring a big crowd with us. A lot of places. It's pretty cool having all of our fans there all the time to support us, and it's fun.
How you feeling from the injury from last year?
I'm feeling great. I don't really feel it anymore.
Right.
And I'm ready to get really good.
There you go. Favorite subject in school? That's always the tough one.
Study hall an option?
Study hall's not an option, and PE is not either. So
math.
Okay, we'll take that. Does that help you on the field any?
Not really.
It will. Trust me. If that's your favorite, you'll grow into that without a doubt. Coach, when you look ahead at the opportunities for Zay throughout this season and the growth, what do you think? There are a couple of things that you say, okay, when we see him as a junior, I think he'll be here, or as a senior, this is what we're expecting out of him.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things about going with a sophomore quarterback is you have to kind of project out.
Right.
And you have to be able to see that in the future that what they're going to be. And it's kind of like what we did with Caden when Caden took over as a sophomore. We had went to the semifinals the year before with the sophomore quarterback and made a tough decision and decided to go with Caden as a sophomore because of the upside. Zayd has tremendous upside. By next year at this time, the game should be moving pretty slow for him. And by as a senior, he should be a version of me out there on the field and being able to make checks and being able to do different things. And so he's easily going to be able to do that and understand it. And after 3 years of coaching, and those things I think are going to come natural, which is part of the reason that I decided to go with him in this spot. And just this season, I expect tremendous growth from him. That game Friday night. Although we lost and didn't play well really at all in any phase of the game, it's going to be a tremendous learning experience for him, and it's we're not going to face, if anybody better defensively than what we saw Friday night. So those guys are really good. They covered really well. They got a lot of pressure. So everything was probably moving faster Friday night than it's ever moved for him. So everything's just going to start to naturally slow down with the more experience he gets. So,
say, what do you take out of that game from Friday night that you build on for next week?
I'm gonna need to use my legs more.
Look, I'm excited about following the growth of it without a doubt, because I know quarterbacks that he's developed through the years. There's no doubt about that too, and so it's a promising spot that you're in, and we're looking forward to it. Appreciate you coming out and taking time to visit with us too, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
There you go, Coach. We'll rotate those guys out. You can bring
okay.
another one. Or actually, I guess if I'd hit the. Yeah, once I learned to hit the right button, it makes things a lot easier. There you go. All right, rolling into the next one, Coach. What do you have?
This is Pierce Gable. This is my son. He's a starting linebacker and running back for us this year. He actually leads us in tackles and sacks and rushing yards and touchdowns this year. So he's had a good year. And excited to get to coach him in the future. And he kind of runs our defense right now. He calls everything for us. But he's still learning the game. He's a freshman ultimately and has a lot to learn. And this is his first year ever fully playing football, so obviously they're going to make mistakes and that kind of thing. But he's had a tremendous offseason and he's had a tremendous start to the year. And we're just looking forward to see his growth in the future and what he can become.
There you go. It's exciting things coming out and playing both ways. I mean, at a school this size, you certainly have to do that. How has your growth been growing up, following the programs that your dad's been around and that work that you've been around?
It's been good, being around Acadiana. I've been around football, but playing it's definitely different, having to, be on the field. It was moving fast at first, but the more I'm getting to the season, the slower it's getting, and the more I'm, learning and everything.
Offense or defense, what do you like better?
I like defense more.
Do you? Why is that?
I don't know. I just like making tackles and getting sacks and everything.
Like hitting versus being hit.
Yes, sir.
I got you. What in the same questions that we asked a little bit earlier too, this offense that's out there, the defense that's out there, what are some things that you see in your game that maybe you've got to develop, whether it's on offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball?
Specifically on offense, probably just on dives and stuff like that, just trying to hit it and stop looking for holes and pattern my feet when I'm about to get hit. Just run and get my 5. If I get my 5, and 5-yard gain is a good gain. So,
look, that's to some non-Veer people. I hate that because you guys are just choke the life out of defenses on there. I talked about it when we've played the team that we do have played Acadia in the past, and different teams out of the Northeast area too, and just grind and run the ball and the clock ticks down, and you may get 1 or 2 possessions, and it drives the opposing team just crazy. You guys take some pride in that, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, look, what do you get when you look across there, if you're offensively or defensively, either way, looking across at the other side and you just see that frustration? What does that do for you?
Yeah, it's good. It definitely gives us morale. It gives us confidence, and being able to know that on offense we're just making them tired every play, just keeping them on the field. and it's given our defense time to rest too. So it's really helping both ways.
Coach, when you see players, and you've got, I guess, practically, you said, 9 of them that didn't come off of the field on there too. What do you put in defensively that helps them just stay in the game?
Yeah, the biggest thing is, and I tell our players all the time, we rest on offense.
Right.
We shorten the game, and I try to get the play in quick. But, our quarterback knows we don't break the huddle before 20, and we don't snap anything above 10. So that's your time.
That's so frustrating. Oh, gosh, that's frustrating. But it sure works when it's done right, man.
Yeah, it's a big deal, and that's our ability, because we have a lot of offensive linemen that play D-line,
Right.
and so those guys need a break, and running back and linebacker are probably the 2 most difficult positions to play both ways, and it gives those guys a break. And our tight end is, a two-way guy, and so our receivers, and DBs, a lot of those guys are two-way guys. So on offense, when I get to play in quick, you get 40 seconds, or really you get about 25 seconds of true break before you have to break the huddle and go snap and run the play. So that's our time to rest. Defensively, our goal is to fly around, and we have a lot of team speed, for the 1A level, and our goal is to fly around, and so we don't really, change anything defensively. No, we don't have the ability to play a ton of man, all the time.
Right.
Sometimes we got to play a little more zone to, allow them to not have to chase receivers all over the place. But ultimately, the good thing is our 2 DBs, our 2 cornerbacks are one-way players, so that gives them the ability to just come out and cover guys. And, and everybody else is, like I tell them, and I tell our quarterback Zaid all the time, is that's where our guys rest. So don't be impatient. Sometimes he's a little too patient. He'll snap it with 2 seconds, which is good.
But get y'all a little nervous over there.
But it gets me nervous. I'm like, should I call a timeout? But he's done.
You think he does it on purpose to you?
I don't know.
Sometimes.
He better not be. But that's a big deal for us, and so we really like to, on the offensive side, is where we kind of control everything, which is why it's so important for us to be able to get first downs and move the chains and that kind of thing. And we weren't able to do that Friday night. So
right. Away from football, what's life like there?
It's good. It's different. I used to go a bigger middle school, public school. So transition from that to a smaller high school. All the classes are next to each other. You know everybody at the school. It's different, but it's better. I get to make closer friends, get to make better connections with people and everything. It's fun.
Look, the bonding of this team, we say whether they're, I guess, 18 that are non-8th graders, and you have the 8th graders as well. Tell me about that. I mean, how much do you guys hang out?
We hang out a lot, especially not even in season. Most of the other football players, we play other sports together too. So
Right.
we're always around each other. We're in the same PE, so we get to work out with each other. We're in all of our classes together, so we're always hanging out.
What other sports?
Most other people play baseball, basketball. Some play track, soccer. So we're always just around each other.
What about you? What do you do?
I played football and baseball, and last year I played basketball too, but I don't think I'm going to play this year.
Don't think you're going to. All right. Uh-oh. That didn't hit well, did it? No.
No, it's fine. Coach Zoe talked him into it, and but I think it's a wise decision to retire from basketball after 1 year. So,
love it. But baseball and football, there you have that. If you had a least favorite subject in school, what is that? Don't say teachers. I get in trouble one time for that, so don't say teachers. Yeah.
Science.
Science. You just don't like that. I got you.
Yes, sir.
All righty. This season it rolls along a freshman. What is the one thing you say? You know what? At the end of the year, this is where I want to be as a player.
The goal is to be first team all district, offense and defense, and then for the team, make playoffs and make a run possibly. But that's the 2 main goals for me.
There you go. You got to love that. Appreciate you stopping in and visiting with us too, Coach. I know you're excited about seeing the play. How are you able to separate and say, and look at it as a dad?
I'm not great at that.
Right.
It's just a learning process. He probably gets it. He does get it probably worse than anybody. But it just comes with it, and he's done a good job of taking a lot of it's just the expectations, as a freshman, to kind of be the leader of your defense and have to call things out, and also to play running back in our offense. I do have to be harder on him than I am most freshmen because the expectations are higher than what I would have for most freshmen. So he's done a really good job. He's been having me coach him and hammer him since he was 3 years old. So, he's able to take it, better than most, and he does a good job of kind of compartmentalizing that. And then when we get home, it's hard for it to. Sometimes I still want to coach him at home, and we want to, after a game, I'll go in his room and we might watch film or something like that. But it has its advantages, and I'm sure to him there's some disadvantages to that for sure.
Look, I coached my oldest for a lot of years throughout, and I think as I look back on it, sometimes I was tougher on him to make sure it didn't look like I was showing favoritism towards him, and that's a fine line that's on there.
No, it absolutely is. I don't think any of our players think I show favoritism to him. He probably, like I said, he gets it harder than anybody else.
That's what.
But yeah, you're right about that. It is a challenge because you never want to be seen as like you're playing daddy ball or things like that.
Yep.
And so that is a challenge, but it is what it is, and I enjoy coaching him. It's my favorite thing is being able to coach him, so it's exciting.
Look, it's a special bond, to say the least. Thank you for joining us on this. We appreciate it. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll jump back into some more players. We'll do all of that when we come back here. Firehouse Subs on Kaliste Saloom. It is the Pelican Sports Report.
Central Louisiana. This is your home for live sports action. From the field to the court, 446 Sports delivers the games you love with expert commentary and passionate coverage. Cheer for your favorite athletes and relive the moments that define our communities today. Our sponsors keep us in the game. Together, we bring you the best in local sports coverage. Join the 446 Sports family today. Watch, cheer, celebrate. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on social media. .446 Sports, where Central Louisiana comes to play.
And we're back to Firehouse Subs. It is Westminster Lafayette Chargers night here, and talked to a couple of to the great players, coach, and looking forward to a few more before we get out of here this evening. So let's jump right back into it.
Yeah, this is Landon Wilbanks. He's a starting defensive tackle for us, and he's a sophomore, so he also plays some offensive line, some tight end, things like that, but. Mainly a defensive player and special teams player whenever he pays attention.
Just like he's right.
He deserves that. Friday night I was calling for him and he wasn't paying attention, so he deserves a little jab right there.
But how is anybody with a limited number of players, because you've got a certain amount on the field, so you've only got a handful left on the sideline, how is somebody not paying attention?
Great question.
That's a great question. That was the question.
But he's responded well this week. He's had his best week of practice of the year, and kind of accepted the challenge. And look, Landon's a talented player, and we're going to need him to play at a high level the rest of the way if we're going to be what we want to be. And he's definitely capable of that. And I'm looking forward to see how he plays on Thursday.
Well, there you go. Welcome, Landon. We appreciate you being here.
Yes, sir.
So how come the first two that came up here, he didn't give them the caveat of "Don't embarrass me"? What is there? You a little bit of a jokester out on the field or around there?
Not on the field. I think in school I'm a little bit of a joker, but when it comes time for football, I feel like I lock in and take it as serious as I possibly can.
Look, there's no doubt if you're playing D tackle, that certainly is a position that it brings that seriousness to it on there too. How's it been in 1A football? I mean, you guys are. I mean, you're there on the field a lot. How's that been as a sophomore? Are you growing into it?
I feel like I'm growing into it pretty good. It's getting used to that varsity level, and you have to hit harder. You have to use good technique, and I think I've been adjusting to it pretty well.
What do you learn coming out of that game this past Friday?
Just to just stay locked in and just give it 100% the whole time and the whole game, and you can't let off until the end of the fourth quarter.
There you go. Coach, another one of your younger players that's on there too. And perhaps necessity, perhaps not. What are you seeing in these young guys that say, you know what, we're going to be okay?
Yeah, I do think we're going to be okay. But a lot of it is, and I don't want to use the word necessity because, everybody who's on the field for us deserves to be on the field for us. And they're playing well. But just roster-wise, I mean, we are a young team this year. I mean, when you only have 4 seniors, it's you're young, and I think next year you're looking at having 9 or 10 seniors or whatever that number is, which for us is a lot. It's a big senior class, and and then the sophomore group will have a ton of experience, and they'll be juniors. And typically, on the teams I've coached that have been that made the best runs and have had the most success are going to be senior and junior led and senior junior heavy, and for the next couple of years we'll have the ability to do that. And this year, the difference is a lot of our sophomores this year played a lot last year. So like I tell them all the time, you have to advance quicker, and I have to have expectations because we got to be able to win with sophomores, and we win with freshmen, and win with juniors with a small senior class. So the expectation's high for them, and they've stepped up, but we are young, in any way you shape it, we're a young team this year.
Look, I just the field doesn't wait for growth on there too, and so as a freshman, a sophomore, whatever it is, it appears to me that you're taking that role and saying, you know what, I don't care what classification I am. Let's line up on Friday night and play ball.
Sure.
Look, what the group that you've got around you on there too. Tell me about some others that are on that D line with you, that front 7 that you have.
Yeah, they're really good. We have Michael, Dane, Hudson. Hudson's really talented, and I think it's really just about holding our gaps and creating pressure where we can.
What do you look at when you go against that offense that's out there too, getting better there? How is that working for you guys?
I think it's working great. I think we're a film heavy, and we make sure we can digest every play we can and make sure to get the right reads, and I feel like we do an excellent job at it.
There you go. Coach, as you're bringing them along, are there things you hold back and say, all right, we'll work on that a little bit later? Or do you say, look, we're going to get in this and we're going to go to it, and that's where our growth's going to be?
Yeah, I think anytime you're coaching high school students, and there's not a whole lot of difference between coaching and teaching,
right,
in my opinion. And so, high school age students and football players, they need immediate feedback. So when you see something wrong on the field, you got to jump on it, and you got to coach them on it. That's why we watch film every single day, either our practice film or a game film or something that we're watching of an opponent or whatever it is, because they have to see their mistakes on film and then correct those mistakes. So that's our focus, is every day is trying to become a little bit better football player. And then ultimately, by the time you're a junior and senior, you should be a pretty good football player if you've taken all those things and kind of piled them on top of each other and get a little bit better. Because you're always, even when you're a really good football player, we're still going to be coaching you up to get better. That's just the way we operate. So it doesn't matter how good they get. They're always going to do something wrong or something that we can critique or something that they can get better at. And that's the key. And they do a really good job of taking that and not taking – I always tell them before they come into film on Saturday, don't be emotional. This is not personal. This is for you to get better, and sometimes I have to hammer them. Sometimes I give my attaboy. a lot of times you're hammering them, especially after a tough loss.
Right. I've heard him say hammering them more than I have the attaboys on there. How intense is it?
It's intense, but it helps us.
Look,
it definitely helps us.
So you can tell the passion that Coach has. How does that translate to you guys, and what does that instill in you?
Well, I feel like it makes you kind of want to step up and be a leader to everybody else, because it's really just it's leading by the best example you possibly can. And I see it in it, and it makes me just lock in instantly. And it's like all right, now I want to go out and do something with it.
Look, that's great. When you see your experiences there at Westminster Lafayette, and maybe somebody's on the bubble about where to go, what do you tell them about the reason that people need to be there at Westminster Lafayette?
I mean, I feel like we're making a culture. It's a very good environment to be in. I mean, I personally love it there, and I plan on graduating there.
Look, Coach, when you have people bought in, I guess that's the term that gets thrown around a lot. But the first three that we talked to, and I got to think they speak for everyone's on there. They're bought into the system and the process.
Yeah, that's the key. I mean, your players have to be bought in. Players, our coaches, our families. Everybody has to be bought into. But you got to establish a culture for that to happen, and that's kind of what our process has been over the last 16, 17 months since I came back, and our players have bought in, and that's why they've had so much success. I give them a ton of credit for that.
Well, so you were part of the first team last year?
No, sir.
No,
it's my first year starting.
This your first year?
He was on the team, though.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was on the team.
He was on the team.
Okay.
He just wasn't started last year.
Well, and so I guess the question there is the growth in. Your thoughts on building what you guys are building, because it is something new, and there's not a group that'll go through again that's part of this first group like you guys are.
Right.
So what is that? What kind of pride is there in you knowing that you're part of the building of this?
Oh, I think it's like a really good feeling to know that we're starting at a base level and we're building something. Like, it's a really good feeling, and I can't wait to see the outcome of it. Like when I'm a senior, and we get to look back and look how far we've come.
Look, all I can tell you, and we'll let you go with this, don't rush that, my friend. It'll be here just like that. You'll be sitting there on senior night, and don't rush that. Huh, Coach? It goes quick.
Absolutely. Yeah,
all right.
absolutely.
We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll rotate them around. We'll just do it so we're not banging that around. 30 seconds, we'll step away, and we'll rotate another one. We'll be right back here. Firehouse Subs on Kaliste Saloom.
For over 40 years, Tim's Southern Air of Acadiana has kept homes cool, safe, and running strong, day or night. From expert air conditioning services to dependable whole home generators, our certified team is always ready when you need us most. We're not just technicians, we're neighbors who care. Southern Air of Acadiana. Let us bear it. Call 337-339-9661 or visit timsac.com.
And we are back. Made our quick change. Look, I think, Coach, this is we don't rest on offense. We're getting through this on there too. Tell me about this young man you got with you.
This is Zach Ortiz. He's our starting cornerback, and does all the special teams for us, and does a really good job. And he moves around. He plays some free safety for us, and extremely hard-working player. And what I love about Zach is he does everything the right way, and in the off season he does everything the right way and works extremely hard, and it's really maximized, his potential. And again, only a sophomore, so still has a few years to kind of grow into it, and I'm excited to see his future.
Look, this sophomore class, this young class, coaches, I mean, there's just a lot of talented folks.
Absolutely. Our junior through, and our seniors are talented as well, but the junior, sophomore, and even freshman class, we have 2 freshmen starting linebackers. We have other freshmen that are going to be able to come up and help us out, and the sophomore and junior class are extremely talented and bigger classes. So again, we're excited for it's not always fun to be young, but when that youth starts to mature, over time, it ends up being a good thing.
Well, Zach, we appreciate you joining us on here too. Defensively out there. And look, I say this tongue-in-cheekly. How frustrating is it when you're on the sideline defensively and watching that offense out there 6, 7, 8, 10 minutes? You're like, all right, come on, guys.
I mean, yeah, it's I mean, it's not like I know it's like helping the offense.
Yeah.
Like we get a break, but like I just kind of want to get in the field sometimes.
Look, and you guys go out there, and your goal is to get the ball right back to them. That's the whole point that's being out there. So that defense that you're out there, how do you approach your work defensively?
I mean, we should try to go 3 and out every time. Just try to get a stop every time we go out there.
Right. What do you learn from the first 2 wins of the season, and then the setback this past week? What are you taking out of the first 3 games of the season as we move already to week 4?
I mean, yeah, it was pretty good first 2 games. We played great, and then the last game we just made some mistakes, and we can get better from it though. It'll be a great season.
What about your game do you think is a high point, and what do you think about your game that you need to work on?
I think I'm pretty good as a corner. I mean, I think I'm all right, and just working my man coverage a little more.
Right, man coverage. Coach, when you see him out there, do you have any concerns about putting him up against anybody on the field?
No, I mean, look, we don't tend to play a ton of man really
Right.
with any of our guys. I mean, so all of our corners could get better, man coverage. But we like to. The thing about Zach that I always know is he's going to be in the right place. It's hard to play DB. Cornerbacks are tough, and they got a lot of good receivers in our league, and we like to stay more in the cover 3 thing or cover 2 or whatever it might be, and provide some help over the top. But Zach, what I like about Zach is I always know he's going to know what to do and where to line up and how to line up and do the right thing. And but when you're a sophomore corner and you're going against senior receivers and some of those guys that we play, Appaloosa's Catholics and the Westminsters and all these really good teams, it's tough to be out there one-on-one. So, but he's done a good job, and again, this is a first-year starter, and so he's kind of learning too on the fly is what works and what doesn't work, and so you expect some mistakes at times, but I'm excited about his future growth for sure.
Away from football, what's one of your big memories so far early on? Just a sophomore, I know, but one of the things in your school life that say, you know what, this is pretty cool.
I mean, yeah, high school has been great. I mean, I really love this school. Everyone knows each other, and it's just we have big events sometimes. Pretty cool.
Look, that's good stuff. Special team side of it. What is your role? Special teams.
I mean, on kickoff, I just go down, try to kill somebody. Really.
Look, that's easy to draw up on, Coach.
Yeah.
That's a mindset you want out of it.
No, absolutely. It's he's on every special teams. Kickoff return, and punt return, and so he does a lot for us and fills a lot of gaps. And like I said, I trust him to go out there and give me his best for sure.
We talked to a couple of them before the same question too. The chemistry and camaraderie between your teammates on there, with it being a small group in there. How is that? How's that bond?
I mean, yeah, it's pretty strong. Everyone knows their body, and it's just we just have good chemistry and know what everyone's doing.
How's the accountability? The older guys holding the younger guys accountable for things. Classification not really mattering. Leadership on there. How's the accountability with each other?
Yeah, the older guys definitely take more charge and just help the younger guys out what to do at all times.
There you go. Coach, as you see the progression and you see the seniors that are on there, what kind of a legacy are they leaving? What kind of an example are they setting for these younger guys?
Yeah, I mean, our seniors work hard, and the thing about this senior class that is, and you never know how a senior class is going to be until they get there, and they're not quite as vocal as some senior class, but all of them work extremely hard. And so it's been odd because you've seen some of the junior class try to step up and take some vocal leadership. And sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't because they're learning how to be leaders as well. And so there takes some redirecting and some kids are born leaders and some of them have to learn how to be leaders. And that's a process as a coach and a coaching staff that we have to it's important. It's extremely important for your team to have some leadership. But you can't just let them kind of go. You have to kind of coach leadership, and you have to redirect it and make sure they're doing it the right way. And sometimes they do, but ultimately they're, 15 through 17-year-old kids, and they need some help with it.
Well, and I guess what stands out to me is these seniors didn't have seniors as freshmen and sophomore because there wasn't a team when they were there. So they don't have anybody. They didn't have anybody pouring into them as senior football players. So I guess it is something they're all learning on the go.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a different culture. I know when I was at Acadiana, by the time guys they had seen 4 big senior classes of how to do it, or even how not to do it. Because sometimes you learn from seniors that don't do it the right way, and you learn that that's not the way I want to do it when I'm a senior. Here we have to have younger guys step up into some leadership roles, and sometimes that can be tough, and so I tell them all the time, if you're a younger guy, the best way to lead is just by trying to do things right all the time. Sometimes younger guys that try to be extremely vocal, sometimes people don't follow them.
They don't,
but they can do it right by just doing things right all the time, and that's the main thing for the younger guys.
Friday night or Thursday night game night experience when you're getting ready and you guys are getting ready to run out. Take me through some of that. Just when you're getting ready to come out on the field and your pre-games.
Yeah, it's very. I'm very locked in. I mean, everyone is on our team. We just prepare mentally and physically just to be the best we can.
Are there any game day rituals? I know baseball guys are probably a little more superstitious than football guys are about things, but is there anything you guys, it's Thursday morning, it's game day, so I'm doing this?
Game day, I just wake up. We have a team breakfast every day, so I just go to that. And then
y'all have team breakfast every day?
Or every game day.
Oh, every game day? That's where do y'all have that? I might stop by. That sounds like a deal.
You can come, brother.
What is that like? Take me through that. That's interesting. Where you guys go? What are you doing?
Oh, we just go in the lunchroom and just have either a pastor or a preacher just speak over us and just tell us some good stuff about the Bible.
Man, that's an awesome start today. Look, that's a pretty good start. It's better than eating Cheerios with your left hand or something. That's good stuff. What's that mean about it, Coach? Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's just something we started last year, and we bring the cheerleaders as well. So it's our football team and our cheer, and also any managers, anybody who's affiliated with the football program. I always consider cheer as part of the football program. Mm-hmm. They go hand in hand, and so they're there, and they typically like Jet coffee. They don't like the breakfast that I get for the boys. They get their own little Jet coffee. But we do have, a speaker, whether it's a local pastor or we're blessed at our school to have, parents that are pastors and are people who are really connected with the school and are passionate about Jesus. And we want to make sure that we're always keeping that first in everything we do. Ultimately, this is a game, and we want to be successful. But if we're not shaping these young men into future Christian leaders and learn how to love Jesus and doing it publicly, then we're not doing the right thing. And I probably need to be doing something else if I can't help that process. So we have a lot of people that come in and they talk, and then we get to fellowship, and then we eat and fellowship, and it's just a way for us to kind of refocus and lock in at the beginning of a day, show some appreciation before we kind of get into that focus mode of getting game ready and that kind of thing. So it's a great tradition, and love that we get to do it, and we have parents that come and help us out and get it set up. So it's fun, and we look forward to continuing it.
That's a tremendous tradition. One last question for you, too. What is your favorite part about game day that's not the game?
I mean, game day is just really fun. But it's really, I'm really nervous up until the game starts and the whistle blows. The favorite part is just pregame, warming up.
Look, don't ever stop that. When you lose that in your stomach, you've lost the desire to get out there and play. So make sure you keep that. Thank you for joining us on here. We appreciate you being a part of it.
Yes, sir.
Guys, we'll be right back. We're rolling through it. Firehouse Subs, Kaliste Saloom, Pelican Sports Report when we come back.
Here's your Beal and Hebert starting lineup.
Lance Beal, Turley's Catholic.
Kenny Hebert, Catholic High.
Stephen Williams, STM.
Don Connett, USL.
Alan Haney, Catholic High.
Gabrielle Romero, Sacred Heart.
Beal and Hebert, Acadiana's hometown lawyers.
You can start a rewarding career as an emergency medical technician sooner than you think. The National EMS Academy, a division of Acadian Ambulance, can train you in just 12 weeks at their campuses in Alexandria, Baton Rouge, Covington, Lafayette, Lake Charles, New Orleans, and Thibodaux. Students who complete the class and pass the National Registry exam are eligible to work for Acadian Ambulance. Classes start soon. Learn more at becomeamedic.com.
Wrapping up our final segment. What a Tuesday night it has been here. Westminster Lafayette, the Chargers. And Coach, we're talking to a lot of your players, your two-way players, your offensive linemen, defensive linemen, D-linemen. What do you have here?
Well, I used to play offensive guard in high school, but I always mess with him about that. He said
he was quick. No, I didn't.
He said he was a running back and a point guard, but I don't know.
Time's rough, Coach. It's difficult on us as we mature. So there you go. Coach, what a welcome, huh?
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, we knows I love him. Coach Zoe is also our head boys basketball coach, and you know, it was cool last year when I got here. Well, that wasn't cool. It was not cool. But none of our coaches on staff had ever coached like a legitimate high school football game. So it was completely new coaching staff. And you know, Coach Zoe was going to retire, he said, from coaching football if, you know, if I didn't, you know, convince him to give me one shot. And he's done a good job, and he's learned a lot over the last year and a half. And, you know, kids love him, and he has a really good relationship, which is important, you know. You know, he kind of goes behind him sometimes if I hammer him, and he'll give him a little love. And
good cop, bad cop. Yeah. Good coach, bad coach. That's just life.
And but he's a young coach with a bright future, and I'm excited to have him on staff.
Look, that's certainly a great introduction on there too. How's it been? I mean, you said up until what was it, last year that he joined the staff, or was it okay? Not coaching football, and somebody comes in from a program that's pretty intense about coaching football. How has that been?
It's been good, man. It taught me a lot about just coaching and leading young men. So that's been really good to me. So
tell me, what do you coach with on the team now? What is your?
I'm receivers and DBs coach.
Receivers and DBs. All right. How has that been? You know, knowing that not throwing the ball a whole lot.
I ain't got to do too much. You ain't throwing the ball. Teach him how to block a little bit.
Look, there you go. No, I got to believe that's been the thing with offenses that he's been in and been around. It's been one of those that lull you to sleep and dive and dive and dive. Next thing you know, it's over the top for 6, and that's you don't have to throw the ball a lot. Just have to have the ability to do it, and that takes care of itself. But away from that, you talked about that it's helped shape you as a coach and dealing with young kids. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so when Coach Gable got there, it really showed me a new way of leadership. The way he did things was a lot different than what I'm used to seeing, and it worked, so I just stole it and kept on going with it.
You bring that intensity with you to the basketball, to the gym?
It's a little different. If I brought that intensity, I get thrown out the game. So it's a little different. I had to put a twist on it.
Look, that is. What's been one of those things that you set back, that you've been through the time that you've been coaching football, that said, you know what, I'm glad I did this?
Just being with the boys every day. I think that's the best part of any coaching job, being with them every day and listening, being around them, being an ear for them and all that kind of stuff. That's why I stuck around and obviously learned from Coach Gable.
Look, Coach Gable does bring that intensity on there too. Defensive back wise too, we've talked to one of them on here. You've got a good group of DBs. What do you see in them, and what do you do to keep them prepared?
I just keep them locked in every day. Do the same drills, training, so they don't fall asleep and all that kind of stuff. And they're good young talent.
Yeah, definitely seeing that, Coach. One of the things with coaches, especially, there's the coaching tree that comes from these big programs, these big 5A programs. You see head coaches all over the place on there too. What are you able to bring up in these younger coaches that get them ready for a long career of it?
Yeah, the biggest mistake that younger coaches make, and I have a pie chart that I created, but the misconception that what we do is just coaching.
Right.
Running a program is challenging, and it's difficult, and there's a lot of pieces into that, and from eligibility to developing a schedule, professional development, making sure your players are doing the right thing all the time and not just on the court, holding accountability, those kind of things. A lot of young coaches think they just, get to go out there and practice basketball or practice football. And it's why so many young coaches now want to become head coaches so quickly and don't want to go through. I was an assistant coach for 10 years before I became a head coach, and got to learn from the Ted Davidsons and the Matt McCulloughs and some really good, and got to work with Gavin Peters and John Romero and Doug Dotson and Kyle Siebel. You know what I mean?
Look, that's some dudes.
you know, and just thankful for that. And I'm sure I missed some, so I apologize to any coaches that I missed. But you know, I've had the opportunity to coach with and under and for some really good coaches, and I wouldn't even be close to where I am without that experience. And I think young coaches miss that, you know, because they're so they want the title so bad, you know. And like I used to tell, you know, an assistant coach at LPSS only makes about 1% less than the head coach. So,
so be happy where you're
at. There's a lot more to it. But when you do become, and there's some advantages to being a head coach. Don't get me wrong, and I love doing it, and I love the ability to do it. But just being able to pass that part on. The coaching, obviously, I think that naturally comes, them being around you and seeing the work ethic and how much time you have to put into it, and you know, that behind the scenes hours that nobody sees. That's part of it. And they'll see that naturally, but kind of coaching up the other parts of how to run and manage a program at the high school level, especially at a small private school like ours that we're trying to get our name out there and things like that.
Look, there's a lot more to it than the folks only see in the stands, only see the sidelines on Friday nights or Thursday nights, but it's the Wednesday nights or Thursday nights of chalk in the fields. It's the making sure that every kid has everything that they need in there. There's a lot more to it. It goes back to the Bible study and breakfast on game day mornings on there. You know, it takes someone special, I think, to be a true head coach. There are a lot of people that are head coaches that don't take that concern, and they burn out of the business pretty quick. But longevity, I think, is one of those things. And, Coach, away from Westminster, what's life like for you?
It's pretty basic. You know, stay at home, relax, chill out, nothing crazy. I'm typically at school anyway.
The answer is there's not life outside of Westminster.
No, there's
there you go. There it is, guys. It's been a tremendous evening on here. It's been a lot of fun having Westminster here tonight. Certainly wish you guys the best and most successful season. Looking forward to following the Chargers the rest of the way as well, because I like what's going on there, and you guys are building something special.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate everything you guys do, and you know, looking forward to see you guys' growth in this area, and you know, excited that you guys chose to cover us, and we really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, guys. As always, thank you for coming out. It's a pleasure. Look forward to following you guys the entire season, and keep fighting and keep going, and you're going to learn a lot from this guy. And all of you go play basketball, because that right.
Thank you. Yeah.
See, there you have it, guys. That'll take care of it tonight. It has been a blast on there. Thanks to our friends at Firehouse Subs. Couldn't do a bit of it without him. Don't forget, tune in next Tuesday night. We'll be right back here. Join us at 7 o'clock. For all of our Westminster friends of Lafayette, I am Doug Gann. God bless you all, and good night.